Okay, if you're a scalper, you know the game. We're talking tiny targets, super tight stops, and like hundreds of decisions a day. Precision is absolutely everything, and that goes double for your position size. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the one simple method to calculate it perfectly every single time, so you never have to guess again.
So let me ask you a question, and be honest. How do you pick your trade size right now? Are you just plugging in a fixed number, like one standard lot, every single time? Or is it more of a gut feeling? Look, if that's you, you're leaving the single most important variable in your trading, your risk, completely up to chance.
And that, right there, brings us to the single biggest mindset shift for any trader. This is what separates the pros from everyone else. You have to size by your risk, not by your feelings. Your risk needs to dictate your size, not the other way around. You get this right, and I promise you, every other decision you make gets a whole lot clearer.
So let's just dig into that for a second. Why does sizing by feel, or just using the same lot size on every trade, fail so badly? Well, it's simple really. Your stop-loss distance is never the same. Think about it. A 3-pip stop and an 8-pip stop carry a completely different dollar risk if your position size doesn't change. You know, costs, slippage, your own emotions, those things are always going to be all over the place. Your defined risk, that has to be rock solid.
But here's the good news. There is a solution. And it's not some crazy, complex algorithm or some piece of expensive software. Nope, it's one simple, elegant formula that puts you in complete control of your risk on every single trade.
It's called risk-first sizing, and it basically flips the whole process right on its head. See, instead of picking a size and then kind of finding out what your risk is, you start by deciding the maximum dollar amount you are comfortable losing. That number, and only that number, then tells you exactly what size you should trade.
And here it is. This is the hero of our story today. Write this down. The lot size you should use is simply your maximum risk in dollars divided by the total value of your stop loss. That's it. This one little line is your key to making sure that whether your stop is 3 pips away or 10 pips away, your actual dollar risk stays exactly the same. And more importantly, it stays under your control.
Okay, so that's the formula. But how do you actually use it when you're in the heat of the moment and the chart is moving? Well, you use a simple 4-step workflow. I want you to think of this as your pre-flight checklist before you ever click the buy or sell button.
All right, get ready to screenshot this because this is your new trading checklist. It's 4 simple steps. Step 1, pick your risk percentage. Let's say 0.25% of your account. Step 2, you define your stop loss in pips right off the chart. Step 3, you get the instrument's current pip value. And finally, step 4, you just plug all that into the formula and boom, it calculates your lots for you.
Now, that third step, getting the pip value, that can seem a little tricky sometimes, but don't worry, there are easy shortcuts. For major pairs like EURUSD, it's pretty much always a stable $10 per pip. For yen pairs, it actually floats with the price, but there's a simple formula for that too. And for something like gold, you're not even looking at pips, you're looking at ticks, where a 1-cent move is about $1 in value.
Okay, theory is great and all, but let's make this stuff real. Let's actually put the math to work. We're going to walk through 3 different examples, step by step, so you can see just how simple and powerful this is in practice.
All right, let's kick things off with the most commonly traded pair out there, the euro versus the US dollar. We'll use a pretty small account and a really tight risk parameter, just like a scalper would.
Okay, so check this out. We're risking just $5 on this trade. Not a penny more. Our stop is 4 pips away. We plug that into our formula, and it tells us our position size has to be 0.12 lots. That's it. This keeps our risk capped at exactly $5. No more, no less. It's pure precision. Now, what about a pair with that variable pip value we talked about, like USDJPY? This is exactly where a lot of traders get tripped up and accidentally over-risk. But you're about to see how our formula handles it perfectly. So here, our risk is capped at $10. Now, the only thing that really changes is that we have to use the current pip value for the yen, which in this case is $6.45. We plug that number in, and the formula spits out our size, 0.31 lots. See? The process doesn't change at all.
And for our final example, what about a commodity like gold? It doesn't use pips, right? It uses ticks. But the beauty of this risk-first system is that it's flexible enough to handle this just as easily.
For this one, our maximum risk is $7.50. Our stop is 60 ticks away. And with gold, it's easy. 1 tick pretty much equals $1 of risk per lot. So the formula does its thing and gives us our final size, 0.12 lots, to make sure we honor our risk limit. Simple.
Okay, so now you know how to do the math. That's the first half of the battle. But let's talk about the rules of the road. Because, look, having the right formula is one thing, but applying it with discipline when you're under pressure, that is what truly protects your account.
And really, this all comes down to discipline. You have to anchor to your risk percentage on every single trade, no exceptions. Use a hard stop loss on the server, not a mental one. You see spreads blow out during a news event? You either sit on the sidelines or you reduce your size to compensate. And please always make sure you have enough free margin to actually hold the trade.
And listen up, because this might be the most important rule of them all. If your calculation gives you some weird fractional size, like 0.166 lots, you always round down to what your broker allows, in this case, 0.16. Never, ever round up to a nice number like 0.20. All that does is inflate your risk beyond your plan. Remember, under-risking is always, always better than over-risking.
Phew, we've covered a lot of ground. So let's put it all together. Let's boil it all down into one final cheat sheet that you can take with you. This is it. Seriously, screenshot this and keep it next to your keyboard. You've got the formula, you've got the shortcuts for the major instruments, you have a safe risk level to start with, and most importantly, you have the golden rule of risk management. Always round down. This right here is your guide to precision.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. With this method, you now have the tool to control your risk on every single trade. Look, you can't control whether a trade is a winner or a loser. Nobody can. But what you can control, down to the penny, is exactly how much you stand to lose if you're wrong. And now you know how. The only question left is, are you going to use it?